guys, this is a little recipe I like to call ugly omelette because it's really ugly and it's an omelette. It's a really quick and easy recipe to make for breakfast, and it's probably the one that I make most often. So let's get into it. Good morning guys. Today's recipe, ugly omelettes, is something that I generally throw together whenever I don't feel like cooking anything serious in the kitchen for breakfast. This is a third recipe that I've uploaded for breakfast, so check out my other recipes as well if omelettes aren't your thing. Basically with this recipe, all I do is I raid my fridge and I find what I can throw in with some eggs in a pan. And usually I put zucchini in, I often put mushrooms in, and I sometimes put onions in, but today I'm going to be putting these guys in. Garlic and tomato. And I also have some leftover charcoal vegetables from last night. Leftovers are a really good idea for this because they're already cooked and you can just throw them in and they cook up really quickly with the eggs. The things that I wouldn't recommend for putting in an omelette like this are things that are going to take a long time to cook, like beetroots or any kind of tuberous root type of thing, sweet potatoes. They take too long to cook, and by the time they're cooked, you've completely ruined your eggs. So let's get into it. It's a really simple recipe. So when I cut up my tomatoes, I always cut off the top part because I find that it is quite tough when you cook with it. And then the rest of it I just quarter and then slice like this. With the garlic, it's a little bit more complicated because I get full garlic rounds rather than the nice packaged up garlic sauce type things with the preservatives in them, which I generally try and avoid. So I just pull off the paper until I can find a join and then wedge my thumb in there and pull a couple out. I'm going to use 2 in this recipe because I love garlic so much. The easiest way to get them out of their skins is to actually press on them with the knife like that. So, and then press. Just keep the blade of the knife pointed away from you and the ball of your hand pointing upwards so that you don't cut yourself. And then the paper will come away fairly easily. Then slice the garlic up into as small as you can slices. You can use a garlic press as well, but I'm lazy and it's the morning and I'm hungry, so I'm not going to. Depends how fussy you are about these kinds of ingredients. I find that with only 1 or 2 cloves of garlic, it's not really worth washing the garlic press to do this. There we go. Now, with my eggs, I'm going to crack 2 of them into a bowl, and then I'm going to add a little bit of water. Traditionally with omelettes, when you're at this stage of the process, you add milk to it, but obviously milk is off the menu, and I don't really like the consistency that you get with either almond or coconut milk or any of the other milk alternatives when you do this. Whereas with water, you don't even notice the difference. So I'm just going to head over to the tap and fill this up with a bit of water. So just a little bit of water. That's seriously it. Whisk up the eggs and the water together until they're basically a even consistency. At this point, I also add in my herbs and spices to this mix. Today I've got some coriander and some basil. Obviously, whatever you've got in your fridge that you like, in your pantry, sorry, that you like, just use it. It doesn't really matter. As long as it's something tasty. Salt and pepper always work too. And that's it for prep. Let's get on to cooking. So turn on your stovetop and add some coconut oil to it. This is organic coconut oil that I just get from the supermarket. It is actually the expeller pressed virgin organic coconut oil, which does not taste like coconuts. I mentioned in my other video about my pantry that I actually have 2 types of coconut oil, and one tastes like coconut and one doesn't. This is the one that doesn't because I don't really want the coconut flavour going into the egg omelette thing. I'm not in the mood for that this morning, so I'm just going to put in probably half a tablespoonful or a teaspoonful of coconut oil into my fry pan and wait for that to dissolve, melt, whatever that word is. Coconut oil is slowly melting, and I'm going to just push it around the base of my fry pan a little bit so that it evenly covers everything. Once there's enough melted that it's covered the base of my fry pan, that's when I can start adding ingredients, because I know that it's not going to burn the base of the fry pan. Without coconut oil might burn them, and now that there is enough coconut oil melted onto the surface of the fry pan, it's not going to do that, so I can just add the veggies in. So as I said, today I have these yummy things. So I've put in my raw ingredients. Obviously my leftovers, which is leftover charcoal vegetables from last night, will go in once these guys have cooked a little bit. I find that if you put it all in straight away, then you'll probably burn or overcook the leftovers before these ingredients are ready to go. Essentially what you're doing is staging the addition of each vegetable item to your fry pan. So you put in the first thing, then you wait until it's done enough to put in the next thing and the next thing and the next thing, depending on how long they take to cook. So if you really wanted to add artichokes or something to a recipe like this, you could add them, but you would have to wait ages before you could add anything else. And therefore it wouldn't be as fast a recipe as what I normally do. The key is to keep them moving so that they don't burn while they're frying. Right, so the tomatoes are starting to go mushy, so I'm going to add my leftover veggies now. That was probably too many, but oh well. Okay, now they're mixed in thoroughly, and I'm starting to smell the flavour of the leftover veggies, which means they're starting to cook. So I'm going to add my water and egg and herb mix to the veggies. Now all you have to do is keep this moving enough that nothing gets burnt, and until everything is mixed in thoroughly like so. Then just pop the lid on and it will be ready in about 60 seconds. You can basically tell when it's done when there stops being a runny uncooked eggs on the surface of the pan. This is cooked most of the way through, and what I like to do at this stage is just quickly give it a stir so that the bottom doesn't burn and I can flip everything and it's cooked thoroughly throughout. This is where it gets the name Ugly Omelette from, because I don't flip it properly, I just kind of flip it in 3 messy pieces. But it honestly doesn't affect the flavour, and it's breakfast and you don't care anyway, so... So now it looks like this. It's pretty much done. Another really awesome combination for this is if you put fresh prawns in and spinach and sumac. It's amazing. I better turn my heat off. And there you have it, Ugly Omelette, ready to go. So that's it guys, Ugly Omelette. Have a nice breakfast.